Hey guys, welcome back to another video in InfoSec Pat. This is video 7 of the Windows Server 2019 training videos. In this video, what we're going to be doing is set up a file server. So if you're ready for the video, let's get into it. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, so in this video, this is video 7 of the series, and what we're going to be doing in here is configuring a file server. So we're going to be going over some permissions, setting up the file server role on Windows Server 2019, and setting up, pretty much the IPs and all that. So this is the slide for this. So this is going to be our infrastructure. For this lab, we have our primary domain controller. And then we're going to have a file server, FS01, with the IP address of 192.168.50.206. It's going to be joined to my InfoSec path.local domain. We're going to have two clients. We're going to have client 01 and client 02, both Windows 10 boxes. All right. And before we get into it, I want to explain some of the NTFS permissions. So full, pretty much what it's self-explanatory. Full permission or full control permissions is, allows users to read, write, and change and delete files and subfolders, in addition to change permissions settings to all the files and subdirectories, right? So that's pretty much the King Kong of the NTFS permissions. And then modify will allow users to read, write, read and write of files and subfolders, also deleting the files. Deleting the folders. All right, so read and execute will allow users to view and run executable files, pretty much like batch shell scripts, batch like scripts, and PS scripts, PowerShell scripts, etc. All right, then you have your list folder contents, permits viewing and listing of files and subdirectories, subfolders, as well as executing files and inherited by the folder only. All right, then you have read, which only allows you to read the content, and then write, which allows the users to add files and subfolders and allows you to write to the file as well. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead and get crack-a-lackin'. All right, so let's, I want to move this over here. That's so I know what, which computer IPs and all that stuff. So this is our, what we've been using for the course as of now, as this video 7. We have our primary domain controller, secondary domain. We have PC1, PC2, and our new file server. So what we're going to do really quick, we're going to go ahead and log into PC1 or Win Client 1 as user 1, and then I think I fat fingered that. I'm going to log into there, and I'm going to log into PC2 as user 2. Okay, so as you see in my AD, we have user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5. And now what we're going to be doing is getting the file server on the domain. We only have these two computers as of now, client 1, client 2. All right, so let's start configuring this bad boy. So let me open up my, so I remember my IP settings. All right, so first things first, we're gonna assign an IP address to this server. Let's go ahead and disable IPv6. Open up IPv4 settings, 192.168.50.206. 192.168.50.1, 192.168.50.201, 192.168.50.202, and then we're going to go to Advanced, DNS, Add, and we can add my router so we can get out to the internet. All right, cool. So let's hit OK here. OK. Make sure we can get to the internet access, perfecto. It's fine. All right, so let's refresh this. We should have an IP address now. Perfect. So I'm going to turn this off. And let's turn that off, that's okay. And now let's go ahead and change the computer name. Change this to Win2K19-F001, FS01, my bad. And then InfoSec pat.local, all right. Now we'll just put in our credentials to get onto the domain. Okay, it's joined to the domain. What's going on here? Primary domain controller failed. Did I spell something wrong? Info.local. All right, so let's that's weird. Let's see if it actually joined. Computers, let's refresh this. It's there. That was really strange. We'll check, make sure everything is working, make sure we can get onto the internet and everything once this reboots. That was really strange. I've never seen that. Let me make sure something. Let me make sure DNS. Let me go on DNS, refresh DNS. Let's see. Just while that's rebooting, come on. FS, yeah, it's there. All right, so let's just log in to the file server. Let's go ahead and go to InfoSec pat /administrator. All right, so now we're logging into the domain, to the file server with the domain user. Okay, so once this is up and running, we'll go ahead and open up the file manager, server manager, and configure the file server. All right, we don't need this right now. And we'll check out the services really quick. We'll just go start service, start service, start service, start service, okay, refresh. So everything's green. We'll go back to local server, make sure everything is good here. Okay, perfect. All right, good. So now let's go ahead and go to manage, add roles and features. Go to next, it's a role-based feature. Hit next, this is the server, hit next. In here, we can go down here to file and storage. We can go ahead, oh man, my nose is itchy. We can go hit here, file server. And then we're gonna go to next. So before we install this, we see here, we have servers under file and storage services. We don't have any shares, we don't have anything here yet. So let's go ahead and hit next and install. And once that's done installing, we're going to see some more information here with the shares and everything. And I want to show you something that I left out for a reason, but I want to show you why. It's about the disk that we're going to store the data on, because you never want to store, if you have a file server, you don't ever want to put them shares on your local C drive, right? You want to put it off to the side or off on a different drive, okay? Now the installation is complete. You can hit close. We can see here now we have shares, iSCSI, work folder. So we're focused on shares, right? So if we see create share, like if we go to here, right click, we'll just open up File Explorer. Come on, come on. Let's just make this big. So let's open up File Server. So if we go to this PC, we only have the C drive, right? There's no D drive. But if we go to, if I right click on Start, Disk Management, I added a 20 gig drive, right? So I can just right click, put this online, and initialize the disk. And then I want to do GPT. Once that's initialized, and then we can make a simple volume, hit next, hit next. We can make it D. Is there a D drive? There is a D. So we can make it E, doesn't really matter. And then we can make this data share. All right, and do a quick format, finished. So now we should see that on, now we see our E drive here, okay? So let's just go back to our server manager. Let's go ahead and refresh this just to make sure it loads the new drive. So now we can create a new share wizard. There, now we have NTFS share, NTFS quick, NTFS share, SMB share application, SMB share advanced, but we don't have some of these options just because we don't have those features installed. So we're going to do an SMB share quick. All right, let's hit next. So this is the file server. Now we have E drive. E is where we're going to be putting this data on. All right, and what do we want to call the share name? I just put something very simple. I just put user data. Okay, that's what I'm just going to make it. So I'm actually going to copy this so I don't forget. Paste it over there. So the local path, which is going to be on the E drive, shares data, users data, and then the remote path, which is the UNC path, when users access it over the network, and we're going to get to that in a minute. All right, so we hit next here. So this is important. So we want to enable access-based enumeration, because this is what's going to allow the enumeration to display pretty much on the files and folders. So this is pretty much to have the users permissions to access the folders. All right, so we want to have that enabled. All right, so let's go ahead and I want to allow caching over the share just in case we use branch cache, and you can encrypt the data, but I'm not going to encrypt it. All right, so these are the folder permissions by default. We can modify these, we can change them, but we're going to change that in a second. We're going to leave everything defaulted at the moment. Hit next, and this is the overview of what we're doing, and we're going to go ahead and create. Let that create is done, bada bing, boom. So now we can go back here. We can pretty much, and we can run a command, which I like to run. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. There's a couple ways to do this, but this is the quickest way, at least in my opinion, to do it. We can run net share. So net share, it actually shows the shares on the network. So you can see right here, user data. And you can also check this out in, actually right here on shares, but I'm going to see if you can do it in computer management. You can do folder shares, and you can see the data shared here as well. If you go to permissions, share permissions, everyone. Obviously, we're going to take a look at that in a minute. Okay, and there was just multiple ways to see it. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and open up here, go to shares, user data, and I'm going to, let me minimize some of this stuff. So if we right click on here, go to properties, we can see the security. This is what this main topic is about, right? The NTFS permissions. So if we go ahead and we can see allow everyone has, system has allowed everything, full control, administrators, and users don't, okay? But let's go ahead and edit. We're gonna add a user. We're gonna add user one, check. That's our user one, hit okay. And user one, we're gonna give read, write, and that's it. Read and write, bada bing. Nothing else for user one, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and give user two modify, okay? So those are the two permissions so now we're going to go ahead and create a new folder called user one. We're going to create a new folder called user two. Okay, so in user 1, I'm going to go ahead and make a new file. It's called user1. This is user1 file. Okay, so save that. Perfect. And in here, security, we see that user 1 has read only, but user 2 has modify. So we're going to see that in a second. Not a fault. I wanted to do a file. So we're going to do new file. This is user 2. This is user 2 data file. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Save. Boom. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and X out of here. We're going to first go on to client 1. All right. So I want to log into user 1. Whoops, I think I fat fingered that. All right, so this is user 1. So remember, I have it over here. So user 1 only has read and write permission. So he should. So if we do whack, what is it? Win 2K file right down here. I want to hit enter here. We see user data. This is the share that's on the server. Right? We can go into here. Remember, we're user 1. So if we go into user 1 and we try to delete this, we have access denied. The reason being is because he has only read-only permissions. Okay, but let's go back and see if we can delete user 2. Delete. Oh, nope. Sorry. Now let's go ahead and go over to PC2 or client 2. And let's log into this bad boy. Oh, I wanted to show you something really quick. So let's go back to user 1. Say if I add a file myself, like test client 1, and I say this is the best class. Okay, I can save it. I'm able to write it. And do you think I can delete it? You think I have access? If I delete this right now, do you think I can delete it or no? Think about that for a second. I can. Do you know why? The reason being is because I'm the owner of that file. Okay? And we'll do it once again. So like right now, if I right click, go to properties of this file, security, user 1, I only have read only. Read and execute, read. Okay? No modify. But if I go like this, let's do this one more time. Test and hello world. Okay, save it. Now let's go ahead and go to properties on here, security. User 1 has full permissions because I'm the owner. I'm the owner of that. I'm the owner of this specific file. So you see how it says full control? And let's go ahead and do on here, properties, security, edit, not edit, advanced, read, write, execute. So it's only read. Okay, perfect. Now hopefully you guys understand that. So now let's go ahead and go to PC client 2 and do the same thing. So let's go ahead and do whack win 2K19 user data, and this is user 2. So you think I'm going to be able to delete this file? Delete? I am. The reason being because I have modify access. I'm able to modify, so I can add user back. Thanks for putting me back. Okay, you're very welcome. So now let's go to user 1, go to the test. No, user 1, let's go to properties, security, and user 2, it has modify right here. See that? It has modify access. That's the reason why we're able to modify these files. I can put this in. Got it. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, boom, save. I'm able to save it. Okay, so that's pretty much the file permissions for this, and that pretty much concludes the video. And if you want to, say for example, you want to map the drive, say for example you want to have map the network drive, we can map a network drive. We can put, for an example, U for users, the U drive, and then we can do whack win 2K19 slash users data. Let me make sure. User 1, right? What are we on? User 2? Where are we on user? Let's see something. I thought I logged in as user. Let me see. Yeah, user 2. Okay. Who am I? User 2. All right, cool. So let's go to here, user 2. So this is going to be my folder for my user drive, right? Like if you ever see in your network, you have like your data drives, your user drives, and everything like that. So this is my user drive for user 2. All right, and we can do the same thing for user 1. Okay, let's go to right-click this computer, map drive, U drive, user 1, boom. Now we have that here. I hate that view, sorry. And then we have it here. User 1, we got the user 1 drive. So now we're gonna say, last thing, server, okay? And let's go back onto the server, onto the file server, see if that was E drive, server, there we go. So that pretty much concludes the video of setting up file servers. It's a very simple process, and obviously you can add more shares, you can add more files. So the way you do that, we'll do one more share together. We can do new share, SMB quick, and we'll make it on E drive. We'll put this as we'll put IT tools. IT is fine. That should be fine. So we'll just do IT and tools for IT team 2020. Okay, perfect. Enable, all good. Create, perfect. So now if we just do, we can just do it locally too. We can do whack win 2K19-F001, FS01, and now we have the IT share here. And obviously there's nothing in there, so we can map this for the IT team. All right, so let's bring this back over. So pretty much we added the file server role. We went over some of the NTFS permissions, how to add it, how to have only have a user only read and write and modify, and this concludes the video. All right, so I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share, and more videos to come. Stay tuned. Thank you.